Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up,
Bro, come on. Wait a minute. This is not how we're starting off season 2 with this whole smiling ordeal you had going on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Season 2 of College Couch Podcast. I cannot believe those words just came out of my mouth. Season 2. We're here. We're back. It's here. Like Stackz, we are finally back for season 2, brother. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm great, man. I'm just great, ready for another
Good.
season of College Couch.
Oh
And
man.
more importantly, college sports, college football is back. We back. So
Bro.
I'm ecstatic. I'm ready to go, man. I'm
Yeah.
lit.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
ladies and gentlemen, Javaris here at Stacksdale Bridge, forever in the building. Don't mind the do rag. It was watch night, so I'm going to be. This is not a
You
permanent
get
thing,
waves. You know what I'm saying?
and I just need to wash my hair out, and I put some
You pick
conditioner,
them up, put
moisture,
them down. I got you. I got you. I
you
got
know,
you.
little something. But ladies and
Come
gentlemen,
swat. Come swat. Kind of
some
had to do it right for season 2 opener, you know.
some
Yeah,
slight.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot thank y'all enough for joining us. Um, let's get right into it. Also, new flags we got going on. No more
Hey,
Georgia.
you see what it is? You see what it is?
You see how we get now for season 2, but
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Stacks got the OG flag back, and I got the new black and white logo. So we're starting off season 2 with a bang, and let's get right into it. Let's not hold off any longer. Stacks, let's talk about this Florida State Georgia Tech game, brother. Dublin, Ireland, bro. It I put it like this: it was probably as advertised as you would get for an ACC matchup, right? I mean, DJ, that's
DJ, ooh, that guy ugly, boy. I got dog, boy. Could throw it in the ocean, boy. God, leave. Nah. Well, his percentage wasn't too crazy. Let's be real. He only threw what, like 9 or 10 incompletions, but it's almost like he was hesitant to throw the ball. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like he just doesn't have that decisiveness that you would look to see in a veteran quarterback like he is. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's just below the worst quarterback in the NCAA or anything by no stretch. But he definitely is not as advertised.
yeah,
You know, I just think he's got to settle in. If he settles down and figures out and becomes decisive with the ball and makes those reads, I think he'll be okay. But Florida State got punched in the mouth. They got punched in the mouth by a hungry Georgia Tech team. Now, what does Tech do from here on out? That's the question. Like, you already beat your first top 10 opponent, you know, in almost 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's a good thing for Georgia Tech. I'm not a Tech fan, but I love to see the fact that the city is, doing something big like that. That was
yeah.
big for Tech. That was
And
big.
it's so crazy. The last win that they had against the top ranked opponent was FSU. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That would be the Miracle on Techwood that happened a few years. 10 years ago. I could be wrong, but of course that was a big thing when Georgia Tech ran the field goal back and won the game at home. So for that to happen again in a somewhat similar fashion in Dublin, man, you couldn't ask for a more poetic ending for a game for Georgia Tech, because they've been through so much
For sure.
for their program. I mean, losing Paul Johnson, and then just going through so many recruits and up and down seasons. So this was a real statement win in a way for Georgia Tech.
For sure.
Um, I love what I'm seeing from Haynes King and then Jamal Haynes. The just two guys that are really looking to make that statement this season. It's really looking up potentially for Georgia Tech. But the big thing, a lot of people are talking about their upcoming game this week against Georgia State, which is some people are now dubbing the Marta Bowl, for it to be inside of the city limits of Atlanta. So I think that's going to be a really cool game to watch. For it to be their first time playing against each other. But
But I say for us AT aliens, that would be something worth watching.
yeah,
Something, you know what I'm saying, big for us. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may it may be true, but I feel like nobody outside of Georgia is looking at it like a big game for
mhm,
them. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because I mean, you got big time Georgia Tech, which is a big name, and then you have Georgia State, who's trying to find their identity as a
mhm,
newer program. But for us, being in Atlanta and
yeah,
everything like that, and moving around in Atlanta, we understand like, okay, this is like the
right.
Battle of Atlanta for real. Like so
Well,
like you said, the Martyr Bowl. So
yeah, the Marta Bowl, it also gives us a chance to see what new head coach Dale McGee has to offer for Georgia State as well. If you know the name Dale McGee, he was the former running back coach for Georgia. So it gives us a chance to see what he's gonna do, for Georgia Tech, a team that he has seen over the last few years, especially
yeah,
with the rivalry. So
yeah, you just got a different head of steam with a
mhm.
different team. Like I
Yeah,
mean, let's be honest, the team he was with before when he saw Georgia Tech is definitely not gonna be the team that he has with
yeah,
Georgia Tech. So
mhm.
I mean with Georgia State. So you know what I'm saying? So I mean, but it'll be good. So I mean, to me, this will be a good place to measure, you know, either how good he can be or where the team is at. Like, I mean, nobody expects you to come in first year, Georgia State, and beat, Georgia Tech like that. Like, but if you do win, it's big for recruiting. It's big for Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, for your strength in Atlanta a little bit. And then it's also, just big for being a new head coach at a new, you know what I'm saying, at a newer team for a newer team. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it could be potentially really good for them. It's almost like a place marker to see like, okay,
Yeah,
can we compete at the highest level? Because potentially you get through Georgia Tech, I mean, everybody else on your schedule, in my eyes, will look like, okay, yeah, we can compete with whoever. You know what I'm saying? I
mhm.
mean, yeah, so I think it'll be good for them either way. Win
Do
or
you
lose.
feel like this game, and I know we kind of segue off from Georgia Tech and Florida State, but do you feel like the game between Georgia State and Georgia Tech could be maybe a big time recruiting scheme, or I wouldn't really say a scheme, but more so of a real event, a
Like
revenue maker for recruits to say, okay, this is a real, team between two big, Atlanta schools, and this could really decide if I want to be in Atlanta to go to school. Like how would you feel this game
I think it's big for
equivalent to
that.
that?
I think it's big for that because I mean, think about all these other schools and stuff like Auburn, and Alabama. Like
Yeah.
that game in itself, whoever wins that game usually wins the recruits over. You know what I'm saying? And for this, normally teams are not in state and big rivals and stuff like that. Not saying that Georgia State and Georgia Tech are big rivals, but this
Mhm.
could potentially start that. Like, cause I
Yeah.
mean, they're literally right down the street from each other. You could make the wrong turn in Atlanta, you be going out Georgia Tech camp. Make the wrong turn in Atlanta, you be at Georgia State campus. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, uh, this could be potentially that. I mean, with Kennesaw, having their program and stuff like that, like you're gonna see a lot of stuff, in that Metro Atlanta area and north to um to to blow up, to explode. Like that could bring a lot of eyes to the city of Atlanta for college sports because we haven't had a lot of eyes on the city of Atlanta. Now UGA has had eyes, but although they're the University of Georgia, they're in Athens. They're not in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for that area, is big for those players. Like if you, for instance, you got somebody that grew up in Atlanta, wants to stay in Atlanta, but wants to compete at a high level, but doesn't necessarily want to go to a Georgia Tech. So Excuse me. But
Mhm.
you have Georgia State. If they beat Georgia Tech and they looking like a team that is just missing a couple pieces, you might get a couple players that might be like, you know what? I ain't going to Georgia Tech. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Georgia State because I want to be a part of something, bringing a championship to this school. Stuff like that. Because I mean, it's a pretty far fetched, but with the new playoff rules and stuff like that, it can happen.
Yeah,
If they play their cards right. So I mean, I think it's gonna be potentially a big time event for just because the ambiance behind it as well. Because who doesn't want to be downtown in the city of Atlanta, on something big like that? We know how it could get being from, you know what I'm saying? We
right,
know
right.
how crazy and fun it could be. So
Yeah,
for a recruit, I mean, you seeing that's the time of your life for that game in particular. So
yeah. And I want to again. We segue so bad,
but
but
I mean but
yeah,
it's
no,
you
agreed.
know
Yeah, absolutely. But I did want to add this as well. Of course, both campuses are literally, if I read it correctly, 1.8 miles from each other, right?
right.
So, not only is this a game of magnitudes, like we said, just for recruits, but the revenue that this game could potentially have. I mean, we had one of our family members just texted us before we recorded saying that they were going to the game, right? Like,
Right.
this is a game that could potentially become a every year thing, and not to take away from the Sun Belt Conference, because the Sun Belt produces athletes. Like, the Sun Belt is the Fun Belt in a way. Like, it has so many athletes within the conference. So I think that this could really be a thing that we see, hopefully a yearly thing that we see between Georgia Tech and Georgia State. But back to FSU and Georgia Tech. I you have two guys who transferred from Alabama to Florida State's roster, Malik Benson and Roydale Williams. And man, I was honestly disappointed because not only did DJ Uiagalelei not get the ball downfield to some really key targets, it's almost like, brother, if throwing check down routes was illegal, this man would probably be working. You know what? Let me not even say that. It just, it just, you hated to see it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love big plays, but I can also settle with making smart plays. But when you don't even try to get yardage, it's a problem.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I don't want to hear the excuses of, well, when you have to fly across the country and it's all this like, no, I could care less. It, you're there to play a football game. Like,
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I mean, although they play a part, whatever. But what do you think is gonna happen in the NFL? Like, I mean, that's
exactly.
getting you ready for that. But um, with with that, well, what you just said to segue off of what you just said, like I said, he was just timid out there.
Mhm.
Like, it's 2024. Like, we already know football has changed. It used to be all about the running back, the run game, everything like that. Don't get me wrong, you know, the running back is still there, and
Yeah.
it still has a major role. But let's be real, you have to push the ball down the field. But and to their defense, they were right there. You
Yeah.
know, DJ he drove the ball down the field and did some good stuff, but he just didn't have that home run, that home run ambiance, if you will. Like he and it was all about the run attack. It was all about the running backs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially for Georgia Tech, that their running backs. Oh my goodness, yep, they did well. But on
Yeah.
both sides, but to credit it, on both sides of the ball, neither one of the quarterbacks played great. Let's be real. DJ Ogundele had what 198 yards
Yeah.
passing.
193. Yeah.
93? Okay, so yeah, so he didn't even eclipse 200 yards. But like,
Mhm.
like I said, he's not, for the last three seasons, including this game that we just witnessed, um, for him to be the caliber that people are portraying him to be, being a five-star recruit, all these big things, he hasn't shown that factor that he's not. afraid of the competition. Like to me, he just didn't show that he had that dog mentality to go out there, push the ball downfield, make plays when he needed to make plays. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, he had the opportunity at Clemson, like coming up behind Trevor Lawrence, which was a dog, at Clemson or whatever. You had those opportunities to learn from the guys in front of you, the championship pedigree, if you will. But it almost seems like he didn't take that. Like he doesn't have that ability to take over a game. Like
Yeah.
he's okay. He's content with just making safe passes and not making the big mistake. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather him push the ball down the field and make a mistake or two. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like the defense was playing terrible. Like the defense was not playing super terrible. You know, but if you push the ball, take more time off the clock, make sure that their defense is on the field longer. You know, essentially you wearing them down.
Yeah.
He just didn't show that to me. Like, and I honestly can't say he's shown it his whole career in my opinion. And it's not a bash DJ segment, but I'm just saying he's got to step it up if Florida State wants to
Yeah.
compete for a championship
Yeah, they
with
just
this
didn't
kid
look like a top 10 team last Saturday.
at all.
That's point blank period.
At
They
all.
did not look like a top 10 team, and I mean, it sucks they have to start off their season this way. I mean, especially with a fresh roster, losing some key guys. But if you get that nod to be a top 10 team, then you gotta put more of an effort than what you put on Saturday,
Gotta
especially.
have that dog
And,
mentality.
right, and not to take away from from Georgia Tech, but you can't lose to a team like Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it just wasn't a good showing from them. But hopefully they turn things around. They play against Boston College this upcoming Saturday, which is an insane turnaround. I mean, I feel like that is just insane to have two back to back ACC matchups like that. But I mean, same for Georgia Tech. I mean, they have a in-state game, literally within a week turnaround. But
But now
that's just
you
the
have
life.
yeah now you have the question of what they always say, one's coming off a win, one's coming off a loss. Who's gonna have the upper hand going into the next game? Like, okay, Georgia Tech is hot right now. They smelling themselves. They just beat a top 10 team. Do they think they bigger than themselves and lose in the moment? Okay, Florida State just lost to somebody that they was supposed to beat. Do they, you know what I'm saying? Pick up the pieces and this is where they figure it out? Because by no stretch is Florida State out of
Mhm.
because with the new playoff system, you can lose 2 or 3 games or whatever and still kind of creep in at the end. But you still got to turn this thing around. Like
Yeah,
you gotta start because you don't want to go into week 5, and y'all still having these same issues trying to figure it out. Like you should have somewhat more of an identity, as the games go on. But I mean, it's not gonna get any easier. Like because Georgia Tech was not ranked, so it's not like they're going against opponents that are any less better than Georgia Tech. You know what I'm saying? Because they were unranked, so it's not like you know we're not doing rocket science here. You
right.
know what I'm saying? In a sense, like it's gonna get harder, and then you have injuries. You have all these things that you have to worry about potentially creeping up. So they have to figure it out real quick.
Yeah.
And for Georgia Tech on the other side, how do they capitalize? I'm asking you, how do they capitalize on the success they had, this past weekend? Do they, you know,
Keep running the ball. Keep running the ball. I mean, for a guy like Haynes King, the size that he has, the man is so elusive. And I mean, I really feel like the two-headed snake that Jamal Haynes and Haynes King have is just pretty much going to be a tear for the ACC. You're going to have to learn how to contain them if you want to win. Not only the ACC but the game itself. But those two guys are just incredible. I mean, they're fun to watch. Really dynamic. I mean, it was one play where Um, Jamal Haynes caught the ball in the backfield. It shook two Florida
Oh,
State
yeah,
defenders.
beautiful
Oh
play.
my goodness! I
Right.
I, I felt like I was watching a high school football game again. I had to run out of my room because I got too excited. But I mean,
Yeah. It
it's
hurt my
crazy.
ankles for them.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like this Georgia Tech team is fun to watch, but if they just keep pounding the pavement and I mean running that ball and coming out of different formations and schemes and stuff, they have a chance. They really have a good chance. Now, before we go to our next topic, because we spend a lot of time on this, a lot of people were joking, saying could Georgia Tech be America's team this year? And I mean, is it out of the question? No, but I
I
mean,
don't think so. I don't think
yeah,
so.
I mean, is it out of the question? I don't think so, but it's a
Well,
little early.
I'm
It's a
gonna
little
say this.
early.
I'm gonna say this, and then we can move on. If there's any time for
Mhm.
Georgia Tech to figure it out, it'll be this year.
Oh yeah.
The reason I say that, a lot of people might criticize what I'm about to say, but the ACC is up for grabs right now. Like you
Okay.
can't if you can tell me without a shadow of a doubt who's gonna win the SEC, I give it to you. First I ask why, but I give it to you because can't say Clemson because we don't know what Clemson we're gonna get this year. Now if we get Clemson of old, they're gonna run a table, but we don't know because last two years or so, Clemson's been ah. You know, can't say Florida State this year because if they're playing like they played last year, they're gonna be doing what we doing right now, sitting there talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you got several other teams, but I just don't see nobody else that could just say like right now. I can honestly, even without them playing, I can say with the SEC, it's literally Georgia's to lose right now. You know what I'm saying? Without them playing any games, because we know Georgia is going to be right there. You know what I'm saying? Can't say that about any ACC team. I can say that about, you know, we know Ohio State's going to be in the mix with their conference. Michigan's going to be in the mix with their conference. We know Georgia. We know Texas. We know Alabama possibly could be in the mix with that. We know different teams with all these other conferences that are going to be in the mix. We don't know with the ACC. We really don't. I mean, I don't see anybody. Do we even have a conference game this year? Who knows? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
No, I no. I
I
mean
just
that's
don't see.
fair.
I just don't. Nobody right now is like, wow, this team is good.
Yeah.
I can't see that
This is the
right now.
team that's gonna make that
Right.
statement.
I can't.
Yeah.
As of right now, I'm not saying that it won't change.
Mm.
But week 5, we'll see where I stand at because it might be putting my foot in my mouth because like, oh, this team was for real. You know what I'm saying? But as of right now, I just think it's up for grabs right now.
All right. Well, hey, I like the sound of that, and that's a good place to go ahead and put a bookmark on. Brother, let's talk about this Delaware missing plane situation. I mean, Delaware State missing plane situation. So, Delaware State goes to play Hawaii, correct? Also, shout out to Delaware State 40.5 lock plus 40.5. Um, I've never seen something like this happen. Well, I've seen instances of it happening, but at the same time, nothing to this magnitude because they were supposed to leave out. I want to say last Wednesday to play on last Saturday, and I guess something happened to where it just didn't get to play. But I from
Uh,
from from what I'm hearing is some of the players didn't even make the trip or something like that. I could be wrong, but some players still didn't even make the trip from when they missed the flight. So there was a second flight, but players still missed the flight.
somebody getting fired for one. I'm, and if they don't, Delaware, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Somebody getting fired. And then for two, is this early signs of them losing the team as far as like these jokers is checking out? Like we don't know. Like Cause I mean, I ain't hearing too many football teams missing no flights, and I
Yeah.
definitely ain't hearing no football team missing no second flight.
Right.
So what's going on out there? Like
I I I I want to know. I mean, granted, the game started at midnight. What is that? Pacific time, maybe. So, well, I'm sorry. It started at midnight Eastern time, so it may have been like what 9 or 8 p.m. maybe, if I'm correct, because that's yeah, maybe 8 or 9.
what?
So
That make it worse.
yeah, yeah,
So if you got all day to
yeah.
get to the airport, I mean, you got, or if y'all leave, because my thing is this: did they leave on a team bus to go to the airport? Because if you
Yeah,
left
I
on a
hope
team
so.
bus, somebody is either doing laps or they getting cut, but somebody definitely getting fired. Because if it's a team bus leaving, that means y'all supposed to meet at such and such time, and if you're not on time, you're getting left, and you might not have a spot when we come back. But the fact that they
Hey, you
sent a
might get left in
second
Hawaii.
plane, that means if you miss both buses, I mean both planes, that means you miss both buses. So if you miss both buses, you just ain't trying to play football.
But
I
honestly,
don't understand now.
look. But think about it this way: I wouldn't mind being left in Hawaii. That's actually not a bad like. That ain't a little bad place to get left at. I mean Delaware, but Hawaii. I'm purposely trying to get left in Hawaii.
I ain't trying to get left in no Hawaii, dude. But
Uh,
it's one thing if I'm on vacation. That's different. And even then, I'm not trying to get left. I will go back home to my bed, to my people, to my money, to my, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
to my clothes. Like this is no,
yeah,
no. You don't miss the bus like that. No, I don't care. Like no,
fair,
no.
fair,
You especially if you going down there to play football. Like come on, man. Like you don't. It's a business trip. This is how you eat. Like you
right,
know what I'm saying? We talking NIL deals. You missing buses? And flames? No, no.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Somebody getting fired. If they don't, if they ain't, I'm gonna fire myself.
Well, I listen. This was a cool little thing just to talk about, especially with it happening. Listen, we really didn't know specifics, but it was just kind of crazy that happened. Literally week
I got so
zero
many
of college
questions, but
football.
we'll let that slide.
Right. But let's get this game right here. Oh my God, this is a game that is really near and dear to my heart. I've had the pleasure of not only covering this game but actually going as a fan. The MEAC versus SWAC Challenge. Oh my goodness, Norfolk State and FAMU. Man, man, oh man.
This
So I didn't
one,
get a chance to watch this game, but I went back and watched the highlights. Oh,
this one, they should have put this one in the slot in the Dublin slot. I'm just gonna be real with you.
the news plot.
They should put
Oh
it.
my
They should have put
goodness.
it.
Yeah, I would have been opposed to it, but
Because
man, FAMU has so of course FAMU won the Celebration Bowl last year, which is kind of like the national championship for HBCUs. So they lose their head coach in the offseason. Willie Simmons goes to Duke to be the running back coach, and then they also lose their quarterback Jeremy Musa to graduation or slash the NFL. Um, but dude, this quarterback that they have now, Daniel Richardson, 5'10", 200 plus pounds, maybe like 205. But I'll give him some grace. Honestly, with pads, he looks like he's maybe like 5'11", maybe 6', 6'1". But man, can that brother move for his size?
that's a good. I ain't gonna lie. I had a double take. I was like,
Let me, oh,
why?
bro, me.
Why is this linebacker playing running this ball, throwing this ball
Yeah.
like this? I said, what in the world? And then
Yes.
the play, because I turned it on a little late. I watched from the second half. I mean, second quarter on to the end of the game. Man, I looked up, that joker ducked up out the pocket, like he started doing a little shimmy and then rolled and threw to the back of the end zone. I said, oh, linebacker can move.
Dude,
I said,
dude, I haven't. I don't think I've seen better ball placement.
I mean,
It's been a while.
I mean, for you to be able to move like that at that size, Bump being that size, just move like that
Yeah,
in general, and still be able to put the ball on target. This is how, in my opinion, how DJ Oogaloo need to be, you know what I'm saying, playing the quarterback position. You know
and
what I'm
what makes it
saying?
worse is they're in the same
This is what
state.
we need. Well,
They are
we
in the
all know,
same
like, I
state.
mean, I'm a Georgia boy. Don't get me wrong, but we know Florida got dogs. You know what I'm saying? We
Mhm.
know that. We know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not that's no surprise. Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's no surprise. Like, I mean, you got FAMU, you know, FSU, Miami. You know, the list goes on.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, Florida, A&M, they look the part. They
They
look
looked
the part.
really well.
Like.
Really
They
well.
look like they coming on a revenge tour to come back and get it again.
And it's so crazy, bro. 286 passing yards with 3 touchdowns.
Uh,
That's That's crazy. That is crazy to me. And they still only won by one. So it was a close game, brother. It was
right,
a
but
very
see,
close game.
this is the type of close games
Yeah.
that we like.
Mhm.
It's it literally came down to who to me it came down to coaching
Yeah.
and who had the ability to for the quarterback, who had the ability to buy time and get the ball down the field. That's to me what I saw.
Mhm.
Uh, because honestly, FAMU, had it not been for the quarterback, you know, I'm sorry I keep calling him the quarterback. I can't. His name escapes me.
Daniel Richardson.
Daniel Richardson. Okay,
Mhm.
so if it had not been for him extending a lot of those plays, uh, I really don't think that FAMU would have had a chance. Like in my opinion, because don't get me wrong, the receivers were good, running backs was pretty good, but the way he was able to escape a lot of that stuff, he should have been sacked several times. Several times. But it definitely tells me that he works with his receivers a lot. You know, because as soon as he started to roll and got in trouble, he didn't look rattled for one. For two, his receivers knew exactly where to go to make the easier throw on him. The throw's still tough, you know what I'm saying? But you know, you put that work in and time in, you can definitely see it rubbing off in those moments. You know, yeah, it was a close game. I know defense could have been a little more aggressive, but I mean, it still was a great game. I mean, like I said, it should have been in the Dublin spot.
That
For
noon
sure.
slot. That yeah, I definitely could see the and if I'm not mistaken, I've if it has started earlier in past years. But I guess maybe with ESPN they may have had to start it in a later time slot. But I'm honestly for the Mia versus Swag starting at an earlier time because I know the Celebration Bowl because I went to the Celebration Bowl last year. It started around noon, so yeah, I mean, I say, listen, hey, push it as early as possible. I mean,
Right,
it
right.
gets the people excited for the season, or it gets people excited, for HBCUs, and then you're getting that spotlight on the HBCUs as well, which is always key for that talent to be showcased. So yeah, I'm for it. I say push into an earlier time slot
Yeah,
and get them as much exposure as possible so that people can see that there is talent at these HBCUs. So shout out to FAMU, shout out to Norfolk State, shout out to the HBCUs. Keep balling out, and I hope we can get some more games in for College Couch this season. And of course, we'll be on the lookout to see what key games are coming up within the season to get some more analysis and coverage on it. But now I think this is my time to shine. I'm gonna go ahead and get the spotlight put on me. we got to talk about these college football Saturday selects. The first time that this has ever been put out. Stackz didn't want to do it with me, y'all. Stackz is not getting in on college football Saturday selects. This is
No,
this is this is just
no.
this is
This
just
is
me.
this is Javaris.
This
Listen,
is just me alone. No help. Well, I have had people, oh well, you should do this play, you should do that play, but I think this was one that I just was like, let me just try it and see how it goes. So I ran a 4-man, and this was with DJ Uyunglele for 1.5 touchdowns, Haynes King for 1.5 pass, rush, or receiving touchdowns, and then we also took um Jamal Haynes rushing yards as well as Malik Benson's receiving yards. Absolute horrible read. I mean, didn't really go well. Hopefully, we get a redemption week in week one. I'm still debating on if I want to just do a simple 2-man or a 4-man again. But my biggest suggestion when we're doing these 3, 4, 5, or 6-mans, possibly always flex. Do not take the power. I don't want you guys losing all of your money unless I'm super confident on it. Always flex these predictions because I want you to receive some type of profit. So yeah, we're gonna get a sweep this year. We're gonna get some money, we're gonna get some profit. I don't want you guys to lose faith in me. It was just a little trial run, but I think we're in a good position to just keep going and try to keep building. But yeah, I see a little discount on the board right now with Jalen Milroe for 0.5 pass yards. Of course, that's going to smack. So, yeah, this is something that we're just going to keep building on. I'm glad Stackz went ahead and gave me the green light for it, even though he's not going to do it with me. Maybe we'll try to get him on maybe one. If we can get him on one this season, we may be good. But other than that, he said he's hands off. So yeah, I have started the CFB college. I mean, this college football Saturday selects. So we gonna get us one. I promise. I promise. I promise. So let's get into week one, brother. This is the long awaited week one. Clemson and Georgia. K. Klubnik and Phil Maffa and company are heading to Atlanta, which is in I don't think they've been in Atlanta for quite a while to play
it's been
Georgia.
some years. It's been some
It's been some
years.
years, yeah. And what's even crazy is Georgia and Clemson is a rivalry game, but we don't see it as much. And I always forget it's a rivalry game. So kind of crazy to be, talking about this game. But we have been huge critics of Clemson on the podcast, especially with Coach Dabo Swinney not really being a fan of the transfer portal. Now, me and you are huge supporters of NIL and the transfer portal, but Dabo's just like, nah, it's not for me.
I mean, can he do it without the portal? We'll see. We
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 gonna
don't
see.
know. We don't know. But I know one thing for sure: Clemson ain't winning on Saturday.
Ooh.
I'm just being honest. I mean, let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
Just being honest. This is a home game for Georgia. Season opener. They got a bad taste in their mouth from last year. They got their returning quarterback back. A great running back. They have all the pieces wide out, and Kirby Smart is definitely gonna have the defense ready. Now, I've been seeing a lot of things with Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo saying that they're not where they want to be as of right now. But where they want to be is Georgia standard. So Georgia standard is complete domination on both sides of the ball. So for them to say they're not where they want to be, that lets me know that they're still good. They just ain't playing Georgia football at this point, which is expected. Just week one. You know what I'm saying? You have a whole lot of new players and a whole lot of new faces. You know what I'm saying? So, but the good thing for Georgia is that they have Carson Beck coming back. who has something to prove. He got that bad taste in his mouth from last year when they lost to Bama and did not get able, were not able to compete for a championship. This year that changes. Now, don't get me wrong. This year is gonna be a tough road because Georgia has, in my opinion, the toughest road to the first stop, which is the SEC championship. And because as you know now, it's no longer East versus West. So the top two dogs get the nod. So I think Georgia's gonna come out on top for sure against Clemson, just because I don't know what Clemson um is gonna look like.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I can definitely of course, being a Georgia fan, I would like for them to win, but again, I'm kind of in the state of I don't know what I'm going to expect come Saturday. So I'm kind of in limbo right now. But one thing I will say is, if we get the receiving core that we saw in that spring game, we should be fine. Of course, we lost Ra Thomas this for the not even foreseeable future. We've lost him for good. And he was definitely a key component of that offense last season. But it's time for guys like Arian Smith. I'm sorry, yeah, Arian Smith and Lovett, guys like that who are really going to make a difference. As well as we have Etienne now, so it's really going to be something to watch as far as how this offense gets the ball downfield. Defense, not too worried, not too really worried about defense. Big guys with Malachi Starks and Jesus, I'm forgetting guys left and right. CJ and goodness, I covered the guy in high school from Columbus. Um, my
let's
mind.
just say let's just say Georgia is deep right now.
Yeah,
At
Georgia
defense.
looks fine. Georgia looks fine, and
Well, like I said,
yeah.
we gotta see it live and in action. But I
Mhm.
know what I know now. Georgia's gonna win this game. Now,
Okay.
I'm not saying they're gonna blow like Clemson out or anything. I just think that they're gonna win this game because it's kind of a tough task to come to Atlanta and play Georgia. Regardless of who you are,
Yeah.
unless you are Georgia Tech and you are a Georgia Tech team that is like Georgia and you playing at the Dome, that is the only way it is even playing field at the Dome. Like I mean, I'm just playing. If you're playing against Georgia, the fan base is gonna outrank you every time if you come to Atlanta. I'm just being real. So, with that being said, I mean not to say that it's not a lot of Clemson fans in Georgia or whatever, but I mean it is Georgia's backyard, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I just don't see anything that's worth saying that Clemson is gonna be able to beat Georgia.
Okay.
But again, Carson Beck has a lot of new weapons. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's gonna come down to how fast they gel, how well they gel, and then how well they do in the trenches. Because um, ETN with the new big bodies up front, we see how that goes. Because he didn't have that. He didn't have as great of a line as he has this year when he was at Florida.
Right.
So, so we'll see what happens. I mean, and then we'll just see what happens. I mean, injuries and all that type of stuff. But as of right now, I got Georgia over Clemson this week.
Okay, so I want to ask you this before we move on to the next game. If Georgia can control the SEC, where do you see them ending up within the college football playoffs?
Well, if Georgia controls the SEC, then they number one. I
Okay.
mean, let's be. 'Cause I mean, think about it. Think about the schedule that they have this year. They literally have to play Bama. They have to play I mean, they have to play Bama. They have to play Texas this year, and I know people are gonna be like, "Oh well, this ain't no game," but they definitely still have the Deep South Soldiers rivalry. They still have that. And Auburn's a revamped team this year that holds a lot of question marks. And when I mean question mark this year, I've seen the most good question mark, you know, as I've seen in a long time. From our receiving core being revamped, Pay Thorne having a full summer, even though I'm scared when he throws the ball every time. But we still have Jacquez Hunter coming back. We have a lot of revamp on the defense. We have new safeties, new corners that are good. New head coach. I mean, not new head coach, but new um coaching staff. Hugh Freeze is taking over the play calling again. So uh, it's not gonna be an easy matchup, and they still have that bad taste in their mouth from last year, from the 27-20. Like, I mean, like, let's be real. So I mean, there are other teams on the schedule that could potentially give Georgia problems. Do they? I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do they play Missouri this year again?
Georgia, more than likely. I think they
Huh.
have. They
Well,
usually
then,
play.
that's another one that they have to watch out for.
Mm,
Because Missouri got a bad taste in their mouth from last year too. So I
yes,
mean, let's be real. So it's gonna be a tough test. But like Nick Saban said on Saturday, everybody got to prove that they can beat Georgia. Like, let's be honest. So if they could, but if they to answer your question, if they control the SEC this year, I
they
think they're
don't.
number one at the end of the year.
They don't play Mizzou this year. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but still, I mean, they still have a really tall order. I mean, having to go to Tuscaloosa, having to go to Texas, having to go to Ole Miss. I mean,
And those are three games right there that are on the
mhm,
road.
yep,
You're playing against a hungry Texas team with a coach in Sarkisian that is trying to make a name for itself. Then you have uh Bama, which like don't get me wrong, although Saban is gone, Bama definitely still got some talent that ended up coming. Like,
yep,
Miro got a plethora of receivers at his disposal, like 5 stars. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though I always say I don't like the star ratings, but he got 5 stars, and that's so he's got a lot of weapons. And then he has a great offensive mind in Mike. What's the boy? Is Mike DeBoer? That's
Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer. I'm confused too. But DeBoer, yeah. So um, it's gonna be tough. And then
Yeah,
you play in Tuscaloosa. That's a tough place to play in. I don't care what you say.
mhm.
So I mean, tough path to it. But if you could survive it, you'd be good. But honestly, if it's a revamped playoff system. So even if they lose both of those games, they're still in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They would have to really, for lack of better word, shit the bed. They would literally have to do that. Like, in
Fair
order to
enough.
not make it. In order to not make it.
Fair enough.
I mean, I couldn't even. That's the best way I could put it.
Hey,
I'm being
simple as
real.
that. I think that's the first time we've
Ever, ever cursed
ever.
on this
But
podcast.
yeah, but no, I mean that's kind of easy, the easiest way to put it. But um, I mean, yeah, yeah, it's
I mean, I'm just being real.
that's I mean that's kind of how you have to put it now. I mean, the only people that can beat Georgia at this point is themselves. Like,
Right,
simple as that. So,
right. Right now, they are the hunted.
mhm,
So everybody's coming. Everybody wants to be able to say we beat Georgia.
yeah,
It used to be everybody wanted to say they beat Bama. Then it used to be everybody wanted to say they beat Ohio State. Then it was Michigan, and you know what I'm saying. So it's always gonna change. But right now, in 2024, everybody has to prove that they can compete and beat Georgia.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I'm just being real. Like, everybody. If you want to win the championship, you gonna have to play Georgia at some point,
yeah.
in my opinion. You know. So
I mean, hey, listen, simple as that. I think that's listen. That's the
I
perfect way
hate
to.
it. I hate it. I hate that fact. I really do. I really hate that fact. But
But
it's
it's kind of the way, especially with the college football playoff going into 12 teams. That's kind of how you have to look at it now. I mean, that's the new norm. Honestly, like that is just the new norm. So kind of just have to roll with the punches and roll with it and move forth and conquer in a way. So, but this now you talking about Georgia and Clemson. Let me tell you this. I don't know if y'all ever saw the well, y'all probably have the iconic video of the woman on the plane saying, and I'm telling you right now, I'm looking at the camera and I'm telling y'all right now, if Colorado finds a way to lose to North Dakota State, I am going to be the most unhinged person in history. There is no way. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from this North Dakota State team because, in all honesty, they are technically the Alabama of the FCS. But if Colorado loses this game on Thursday night, and I promise you, y'all will be seeing the College Counts very soon before we record our second episode, hopefully, I'm going to be 100% unhinged. Because I I don't have hate in my heart towards Colorado. I hate the antics that they do. They talk a lot to be 4-8 from last season, and I'm a huge fan of Coach Prime. Like I enjoy Dion. I mean I think he can turn that program around, but let the play do the talking and not you do the talking.
right, right,
Like let the play on the field talk for itself. And there was something that just happened recently that really upset me. Not only as um I don't really classify myself as a journalist. I've been in journalism, but I don't classify myself as a journalist, not even anymore. But there was a press conference or a morning meeting, as they say, where they have the journalists from the different outlets come in, and there was a journalist. I want to say he was from Denver, and I want to say that reporter was also with CBS Sports in Denver. Coach Prime told that journalist that he could no longer ask him any questions because of the way that CBS Sports ranked Colorado this season. So you're telling me you're going to punish that journalist because of what his outlet did, not him, but because of what his outlet did, and he can't do his job or put food on his table because of your ego? Are you serious? Like that's
right,
that's what we're doing now?
right. And
So yeah, I have an issue with that. And
I
I
think
really
I think
and honestly, I hope North Dakota State wins this game on Thursday. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm gonna say it. I hope they win this game so they can get that reality check that they need.
the only way that that Colorado could make up for all of these antics is if they win, and he better win. He better win.
He better. I'm going to be unhinged. I'm telling you now. I'm going to
Oh,
be
as am
unhinged.
I. I've always said it. They. I'm all for talking your stuff. Like I'm all for you being arrogant, flash your watch, all that. But my brother, go out there and win some games. Like you know what I'm saying? Like if Georgia goes out and flaunts that, they got all the right to. You know what I'm saying? They got their championship. They won their games, even though they didn't make playoffs last year, but they made it to the conference championship and only lost by 3 points. So, you know what I'm saying? And they play in a tough division. So they were 3 points away from, you know what I'm saying, winning. So Colorado, y'all went from winning one game to winning 4 games. And every game that y'all won, y'all barely beat teams y'all should have blew out with the talent that you had. You know, so don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Now, I'm all for I rock with Dion. Me personally, I rock with Dion. There's a lot of things that he does that I respect. But if you're gonna talk the talk, We love Dion because he talked the talk and he walked the walk. Dion talked junk when he was on the field. What did he do? He made plays. He
Mhm.
he he won his matchups. These players is talking the talk and ain't winning nothing. Now I was definitely say I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I just started to get a little unhinged right now. His son on the other side of the ball,
Shallow.
Shiloh them. But you're a liability in coverage, my boy. Liability in coverage. Jackson.
Oh, we got. Oh, yes, yes. Go. Hey, go ahead. Let it
But
come on.
anyway, uh, he is a liability in coverage. My boy, you get burnt. Now, don't get me wrong, you can hit as hard as the rest of them.
Mhm.
That is beautiful. But if them jokers send anybody on a fly route and you 1-on-1, you is burnt chicken. Burnt. Extra crispy.
Yeah.
So you ain't got the right to speak. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you was complete shutdown, when you were locked down, when you got 1-on-1, no fly zone, and you lay in the wood, beautiful. I could rock with that. But right now, that it ain't looking so.
Yeah.
So anyway, Colorado, I am taking them in this game.
Mm.
It's because they should win, but I am feeling that they might not.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Colorado for that one.
All right. I like it. I like it. Well, I listen. I've said my piece. I think that's. Listen, I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. If Colorado does not win this game Thursday, that's all I'm gonna say. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, I'm going live. Soon,
I'm
soon as
telling
they,
you.
soon,
I'm
so,
telling you. If we do what we planned, because we do, we have been talking about trying to do something, especially for week one. Oh, we're going insane. We're going absolutely insane. But um, another game that I'm really looking forward to this upcoming Saturday, USC versus LSU. Now, the thing about this game, I had the opportunity to talk to Bryce Coon yesterday, who is the LSU reporter for 24/7 Sports, and I got a chance to chat with him for a brief second before they played. And I just wanted to get some insight from him as far as how LSU is pretty much looking now with Jaden Daniels leaving and going to the draft, and then Malik Nabers going into the draft as well. Where is this LSU team going? What direction are they going in? And I mean, it looks like from what he told me, it was just they just have to become more balanced. And they had this high powered offense last year, and it's kind of like, what is Garrett Nussmeier, the quarterback that just got the nod? What is he going to offer for this upcoming season? So, brand new coaching staff on defense. They just really need to get back to that old LSU defense, that aggression that's going to really punch you in the mouth from the get go. And I think that was really key from that what was it, 2018-2019 team that went undefeated and won the
well, I
national championship.
mean to say that defense was not that great from that season. Let's
They were. I mean, they
no.
made some key stances though. They
They,
made key
they,
plays.
he stopped from being dominant like LSU's defense has been in the past. Two different things. Let's be real.
Okay, well, I'll say this in pass, but not the championship
You
team, and
know,
I'll
like
I'll rephrase that in
not
pass.
in today's college sports, in my opinion, you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to have a superstar defense. You just have to be able to make the plays in the key moments. That's not meaning that you, like, for instance, Georgia defense last year, great, right? Phenomenal. But they didn't make the stops in the key moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you just have to have an offense that can score at will. You know, so prime example that like you brought up the OLSU, that team you couldn't stop the offense.
Mm.
So the defense job was good because we know if we go 4 and out or 3 and out, we get in the end zone because
Right.
we got you know what I'm saying, some dogs on the other side. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So and then for your point about LSU last year being more balanced, USC got to do the same thing because their defense
Absolutely.
was straight putrid last
Yep.
year. You know,
Yep.
I'm just being real. And
Listen,
LSU had a
Caleb,
tough task as far as
yep.
competition.
Caleb Williams, yeah.
I can't even say like last year. I can't even say it was his fault. Like
No. I'm not putting the blame on him, but at
they,
the same time, it was just like, oh God, like you got to do something. You got to win this game. Like this is a key game. You need to win. You know.
right. So for both of them, I think they're. Go ahead. I feel like for both of them, they have the same question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, USC had uh, a good offense. I won't say great.
Mm-hmm.
A horrible defense. You know, and so and then they had a good quarterback that went into the NFL. LSU had a high-powered quarterback that went to the NFL, and both of them were Heisman winners at some point while they were at their schools. They had good receivers, everything like that. So they had a good offense, so and a bad defense. So both of them have those question marks. So this game right here is gonna be a tough one to see because there's so many question marks out
Yeah.
there.
Well,
I um, are they playing? Who's playing at home? On
it's
that.
at LSU if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, but then LSU's winning. LSU's winning. Yeah, I'm just being honest because I'm saying for one, I'm just being real. This because that was gonna be my determining factor because it's hard to
Wait a
win.
minute. Let me be sure. Let me let me be point blank period, bro. Oh my goodness. Point
I'm,
blank period like that. Jesus.
but the only reason I say that is because the crowd.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to win there.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
is very hard to win at LSU.
Mm.
At LSU.
Oh, neutral site game.
Okay,
Las
so
Vegas.
now it gets a little tricky. That's not a neutral
Ooh.
site. That is
Okay.
USC territory.
In Las Vegas?
Comp- Over LSU?
Oh, you said it's USC territory. Yes. I'm sorry. I thought you said
I
LSU.
was about to
I'm
say,
sorry.
well,
I'm sorry.
we
My
can
brain was
argue,
somewhere else.
we
I'm
can
so
argue that
sorry.
because,
I'm sorry.
because
My apologies.
okay,
My apologies.
so if it's neutral site and it's
Uh,
Vegas, I got USC.
okay.
That's just because not even just you take out the fact that it's in Vegas.
Mm,
And well, don't take out the fact that it's in Vegas, but take out the fact that that is pretty much a home game for them. Uh, I will say this: um, the time is gonna affect uh a lot. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, um, yeah, it's gonna affect a lot. It's gonna affect a whole lot. So USC is used to that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that plays a factor, and then but I'm 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 going USC because of those small things. Um, and the question marks surrounding LSU's offense and defense. Uh, but I think that USC is gonna be okay because of who they have for their head coach. So
Okay.
think I
All right.
think I think with their head coach, I think offensively they're gonna be good. So I think USC pulls it out. I think
Okay.
USC pulls it out. If
All right.
if, if
Last.
it's in Vegas, I think USC pulls that one out.
Okay. All right. Well,
Now
fair
they
enough.
going against the SEC, but I think they do.
All right. I hear you, brother. I hear you. I hear you. Well, last game on the docket, and this is definitely a game to watch. Is Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. This is the college game day, game of the week. They're going to be touchdown in College Station on Saturday. Kyle
Oh,
Field.
Jesus. Notre Dame going to College Station?
Mm-hmm.
And see, I know the games go on, but I always be late figuring out who's at home and who's away. A&M's gonna win out.
Yeah, I have a feeling too that it may happen. I mean, as as weird as Texas A&M is, I hate saying this because but man, they those are some weird people in College Station. Um, they know how to play football. They do know how to play football in College Station. I was a huge Anais Smith fan from last year. The guy really brought a lot of not only a lot of spunk to that team, but he brought me a lot of money last year. So
Yeah, yeah. I think A&M wins that one just
yeah,
because like Notre
you you
Dame.
you, you lose Sam Hartman and Estime. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right. Estime from the running back last year as well.
Yeah, you
Who were
you you lose those pieces, yeah. But Notre Dame, it's almost like when they play big teams
yeah.
on big stages on big games. It's like they just can't get over that hump. Like last year, they had the opportunity to do it, but they couldn't get past Ohio State. I think that was the big game that they lost.
Okay.
One of the big games that they lost. Uh, but I think, yeah, I think Texas A&M. To me, in order for them to lose this game, they would have to shoot themselves in the foot. But I think, uh, yeah, they ain't got Jimbo no more, so
Yeah,
that's
it's really tough to say. Be, excuse me, because we don't really get a chance to really hit on Texas A&M a lot. So I honestly I think I'm gonna be taking a shot in the dark with this game because I just genuinely do not know a lot
yeah. I mean,
about
I
A&M.
don't know either, but that's why I said for this one, it only came down for me is where they playing.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
Oh, but one thing about it, Kyle Field can get loud. I mean, they aren't ranked the number one team in that little stadium post on NCAA 25 for no reason. Like Kyle Field gets loud. Like if I'm not mistaken, if you're sitting in the press box at Kyle Field, the press box is literally like bouncing because people are jumping.
that's what I'm saying.
So you know what I'm saying? Like
It's
it, it
hard to
gets it gets rowdy in Kyle Field.
it's hard to win there.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, and it's not even like that. I'm saying that A&M is a better team than Notre Dame. I just don't. But for what they lost, like if they had a veteran coming back from last year, like if Sam Hartman were to come back, if he would have came back, I would have said okay, maybe Notre Dame. But even still, I'm still like I don't know because it is so hard to come into a place of that magnitude, like that magnitude at that level, and win a game. Like especially
Yeah.
in the beginning of the season. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still hard week 6, week 7, but at least week 6, week 7, you kind of know who your team is. You know what I'm saying? Week 1, you figuring it out. Like we see a lot of bad miscues in week 1. Bad throws, timing's off, penalties, a lot of things, fumbles, interceptions, things like that. A lot of those things happen week 1 and week 0 because you're fresh. Like this is your first time live action with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Going through your progressions, doing everything like that. So I think I'm going with A&M, but I'm only going with them not because they're better than Notre Dame or anything. It's just because simply that stadium gets to rocking, and they don't. It's tough. It's tough. They
Mhm.
don't let up too many, and up there. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm rocking with.
Well, I think I listen. I agree. I don't know if you got any more on the docket, but that was all for me, brother. Man, what a way to bring in season 2, brother. Oh man, I'm so happy to be back.
My daughter made her little cameo and
Yeah, man. I wish that we could have got a pic from her, but I guess she didn't want to hang around for too long, which is fine, you know. But yeah, man. Listen, thank y'all so much for rocking with us. I know we end like this all the time, but listen, y'all don't know how much this means to us. Like for you guys to be rocking with us, and now we're entering into our second season. We have so much in store. Like we weren't joking from that promo video we did. We have a lot in store for y'all this season. Like it's going to be fun. So keep rocking with us. Keep showing love. Keep giving us your suggestions, your comments. Subscribe, please. So thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts. Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm so excited. This is fun to me. I look forward to recording these episodes, man. So yeah, thank y'all. Stackz. Take us home, brother.
before I take us home, I'm rocking with the South Side shirt, my boy.
Oh, thank you, brother.
You,
Thank you,
you,
thank you, thank you.
you better rep the side how you supposed to, my boy.
Hey, got to, man. Clay
But
Cole to the death of me, brother.
oh yes sir, yes sir. I mean I ain't Clayco, but I'm right
Yeah,
there in there
you,
somewhere.
you on that thresh. You on that thresh.
But anyway, y'all know what it is, man. College Couch Podcast. We appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, tuning in with us every week. Season 2, episode 1. We're back. We're back. So much more in store. So many fun times. So many unhinged moments, as we like
Yeah,
to call it. Uh, I'm looking forward to hollering at y'all after week 1. Will our predictions be correct? You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But hey, we got bills to pay, man. So we're gonna get up out of here. But first and foremost, we gotta let y'all know to tell us if you know any players that ain't getting their shine, ain't getting their due, but they doing their thing, let us know. Reach out. Reach out to me and my personal DMs, or you can hit Javaris and his personal DMs, or you can hit the College Couch Podcast Instagram DMs, or hit us on Facebook, whatever. We want to cover those players. We want to get all these college athletes they shine. We're not just hip to the Power Fives or the big time schools. We want to holler at everybody, but tell a friend, tell a friend, tell their sister, tell their cousin, all of them. Subscribe, like, comment, share your thoughts, what you want to see, everything. But hey, like I said, we got bills to pay and we out of here. Yo.
long live the couch.
Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta go.